29, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. There was no economic data on Forex Factory to really move the markets. But you can see from the pre-market, this is carryover from Friday, kind of spiked up, and then it pushed down about 80 points from its high. Then it proceeded to take back the 80 points and then push up another 10 points. So it almost looked like it was from down here to up here, it was like 90 points. Down here, went down 80, and then up here, it pushed back up to 90. So it almost looks kind of wild. So I'm going to get into the trades right now. I did take one trade. It was a higher low. It was profitable. And I marked a few other little areas that I thought were kind of interesting. So pre-market, there's like a spike, sell-off, this choppy price action. Right when it opened, when it came down here, I established this channel, but I don't really trust it all that much, especially when I found it in real time. It looks like it's pushed two pushes down. It bounces here, creates a first entry short. You have a technical second entry short, but it also looks like it's just one big leg. And so when I see this leg in real time, I'm not really ready to call this a second entry short, although it's a decent signal bar. This one is like a second entry short failure, but it's too early to try to take any trades here, in my opinion. So I left it alone. Creates a new high, pushes down on this orange down channel, break, makes one attempt to test the low, makes a second attempt, and it looks like it's reversing back up. So you get the second entry short failure right here, but it's kind of out in the middle of an area that I don't really know what's going on, so I left it alone, looking for a higher low. The higher low shows up here, but I'm not happy with this higher low because it never broke below this guy. It's far from the EMA, and it's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere like the other setups. And I tried to make something fit. I had something like right here at one point, and it didn't really amount to anything, like any possibly decent trade. Creates a new high, also high of day. First entry long pullback, second entry long. When you see this in real time, you have no idea it's going to push back above the EMA until this candle opens and closes. By then, it's too late. Now I'm looking for a higher low to potentially take a trade to right up to here. If higher low doesn't show up till about right here, by then, this higher low has no more room before it hits this resistance, this obvious resistance, because it had one attempt, two attempt, kind of a third attempt here. So this is like the fourth attempt. So your higher low is right here, but it's just not a safe setup, not a clean setup. Starts flushing down on this orange down channel. By the technical count, there is a first entry long pullback. You have a technical second entry long here, but it just looks like it's one big leg. So I'm looking for a break of this orange leg down and a potential another leg the same size as this orange leg. And it kind of doesn't really do that. It kind of turns into a more of a shallow sell-off here. It's a localized low. Then it does a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I actually thought this is a possible trade because there is some kind of resistance that got rejected roughly about here. Not really quite a triple test, but it does look like it's two attempts down. And in real time, it looked like it was pushing back down. So I thought it was a possible trade here. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. And then it pushes down. You kind of have a lower high here, but it's too congested. This almost looks like a tiny range here, or at least on a smaller tick time frame, there is a range here. So it's hard to navigate something like this for me. So it pushes down, pushes up, pushes down, and it looks like it's falling into this orange down channel. This orange down channel has a small overshoot here, break to the low side, creates a corresponding break to the high side, but it was such a nice clean leg up. Looks like it's one leg up, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. So now in real time, I'm thinking, looks like it's two somewhat choppy legs, but two legs down for the most part. They're not measured, they're not quite symmetric, they don't quite look like each other, but it does like one leg, then a second leg. It's a localized low, it's a first entry short, pullback. There's a second entry short and potentially a second entry long. So it's a first entry short, second entry short. Right here, it looks like it's going to be a second entry long and the failure of the second entry short. So here it does have a first entry long, second entry long confirmed, first entry short, second entry short failure, but this follow through candle leaves a lot of ambiguity because it's neutral, It's red when I want it to be green. It's below the EMA. I don't know what's going on here, so I'm waiting. Pushes up, pushes down. Then it actually gives you this higher low. So it looks like it's one leg down, one attempt down, push up. So I thought this, although there's some kind of resistance here, it's starting to lose kind of a bearish momentum. So it looks like it's starting to reverse. So I took it's an aggressive trade. I took an aggressive trade. I actually dropped it one tick below the high because it actually opened, pushed up. This time I dragged instead of a stop limit order from the high side and dragged it down, wait toward caught. When this one closed, I wasn't sure I was going to quite do that, or I missed my trade. So I actually entered down here, dragged it up, and before I even got to where I was going to enter the high of this candle, as I was dragging it up, I got one tick below here. So I actually got slightly better fill. Got the entry and then got my 6 ticks. So it was a fortunate accident on an aggressive trade for me. They don't happen often. So it creates a measured move. So now I'm just reluctant to take any longs. I'm just kind of sitting back and waiting. Also knowing that this was an aggressive trade because the concern was entering on the high. I was aware that there could be a little bit of a resistance here, but there's only one attempt. So I was thinking of one leg up, pullback, potentially second leg measured move. So I kind of factored into my reasoning for taking this trade. So it pushes sideways. It creates a second entry long. I saw this in real time. I was thinking like, it does look like two legs, but this is just too congested. It's two side by side. There aren't any inside legs except for this guy. So it looks like it's one leg down, pullback, second leg. This guy made this guy inside leg. And this guy here is also making this guy an inside leg. However, this one did tick below this guy and push back strongly. But seeing this in real time, it looks a little choppy. So I was looking for a higher low. And I don't really get a higher low till about right here. This higher low is already too late because this trade already broke to the high side. I wanted a higher low kind of where this candle was. So it push up, comes back down, give me a higher low with a decent looking signal bar, then I have enough room. When I see a higher low here, I technically have to be worried about this potential resistance here. So it's not the cleanest. Plus, it wasn't backed up by a decent signal bar. So kind of threw up extra areas of doubt. Starts pushing up. I thought it might have fit in this channel, but this channel never got colored in because it just doesn't really fit well. But it did look like it's moving up nicely on this leg. Pull back, second leg up. But here, there's no setup, no clean setups. EMA is not really helpful right here. It is showing a bullish move up. So I'm looking for any entries or any setups that come back down to this blue line to try to go long. But the overall context right now is it moved two legs down. Looks like it's moving one leg up. Maybe I'll make a second leg, but right now it's just in an area that I'm not too sure what's going on. Let me go ahead and zoom in. So, okay, it's this high side, moves down when I thought this orange down channel, but it breaks, tests the low, and then I thought maybe I'm actually in a range. It's just getting choppy, no clean setups that I particularly like. Pushes up, flushes down, looks like it's moving down this orange down channel, breaks to the low, breaks and tests the low, then reverses back up. Again, I'm just sitting on my hands. Now I'm getting dojis, so it's like technically a new low. First entry short. You technically have a second entry short here, but this actually looks like first entry short, kind of sideways, pushes up. Second entry short here. Unfortunately, it's a doji. The break of the screen up channel has tested the high, and the fact that it already made two second entries attempts down, and then this isn't really a lower high. This is just kind of a candle out in the middle of nowhere. So I see this in real time. There is enough room to push down to the EMA, but other than having enough room, the setup isn't clean. So I'm watching. New high, first entry long, second entry long. Unfortunately, this is an inside bar, and it's a terrible neutral green bar. Can't do anything with that. Pushes to the high side, it flushes down. And again, these candles are printing pretty much the same size, but they're jam-packed right next to each other. So it's a very shallow down channel. When it's a shallow down channel with the candles being roughly the same size, or they have big wicks on each side, it kind of looks like it's a lot of indecision, although it's biased toward, in this case, sell-off, but it's not strong enough, or it's not setting up anything strong enough. Plus, it's almost sideways. And with that almost sideways, the EMA isn't acting as any help for key entry point either. So it pushes, Pushes on this green up channel, break, tested low. I didn't turn this into a channel or a range just yet, but I saw, okay, there's two attempts, some kind of resistance or support area here. And then I had this transparent and I thought there's some kind of resistance here. Pushes up to the high side. It's having trouble. So at this point, I think there's a triple test. So it looks like it's, well, one attempt with a breakout here. 1, 2, 3. So it looks like there's a triple test. Clearly some kind of resistance here. New low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Again, this is almost trade because these candles are just a little bit too close to each other. Break of this orange could test the high. So I have conflicting ideas that conflicting ideas that prices want to move up. But if I'm in a range, then prices want to move down. So which one should I trust? I'm not sure yet. I need more price action. So it does have a failed breakout here. Now it looks like it's one leg pullback. I'm looking for a second leg up now. And it's slowly doing that. And there's no clean setups here. Technical count, there is a first entry long, second entry long. It's a terrible signal bar. Also looks like it's just one leg. So it actually counted as a visual first entry, pullback, second entry. But this signal bar also isn't all that, well, compelling. Pops around and starts moving upwards. As it bounces here, I established this green channel support, and I put this kind of, NinjaTrader does this sometimes, but the lines sometimes when I have them touching nicely, they kind of flicker or they don't touch anymore after more price action prints out. So I'm just correcting it. I had something very close to this, which is up and it breaks. Now it's just moving sideways. So nothing I particularly like. Looks like it's two legs down. Two legs down. I'm wondering if it's going to push back up. This is new low, first entry short, second entry short. Something I noticed, but not compelling enough to take a trade because it is a first entry short, second entry short failure. Looking for a higher low. Higher low kind of shows up here, but it's not really a higher low because it never broke below this guy, but it's a nice signal bar. The thing that made me worried was if this channel is in play, it's broken and tested the high. So nothing particularly here that I felt was safe. Pushes up. Don't get any clean second entries. I did mark this. I really wanted this candle to come down and touch here because it looks like it was pushed down 2 attempts up. But since it's 2 attempts up, overall bias is starting to turn bullish. Like in the bigger scheme of things, it looks like it's pushing up. Such a strong close. I was looking for a higher low, so then I could count as a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I want the next couple of candles, kind of like a candle here, and then the next candle after that to break below and push back up with a strong push here, but not get too close to here to give me a clean higher low. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. The higher low shows up here, but by then you already broke and tested the high. There's no trades here. Pushes up and it starts looking like it's moving sideways, and it started the recording right about here. So just looking at this, looks like a new low, first entry short, second entry short. If there's a second entry short failure, there might be a trade here. Actually, let me see in real time. Let's see if there's, I've kind of done this before earlier. Didn't really look that clean. I mean, this could turn out to be something, but I'm not sure. And then the other thing that's kind of giving me pause is these candles are definitely slowing down. So if I enter a trade, I'd have to wait a couple of minutes for, these candles to finish printing. And so it just kind of makes me extra cautious. This is first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure. If this candle was green, I'd feel more inclined that there's a trade here, but this one's red, so I'm just watching this guy. Let's say if I entered here, would I've gotten the trade? I'd still be in the trade because I'm going for 6 ticks, and I need it to break pretty much close to this candle here. Or not this candle, this line. I would need, my exit would actually be, for profit target, be right here. But I would be playing kind of a gamble because it has made a new high day. Not to say that a really strong bullish day like this, well, it could have been stronger, but it's clearly a bullish move right now. Might actually happen, but it just gives me a little bit of room for pause because the first entry short, second entry short, I'm entering on a failure. Failures are inherently less strong, in my opinion, than a clean like second entry long. So if it's like a second entry long versus a failed second entry short, I'd always be more inclined to take the clean second entries as opposed to banking on a failure. But yeah, I'm not going to stick around, but it looks like this didn't really have a clean follow through. So now it's like a first entry short, second entry short. Could this be a lower high? Lower high, even if it's form, I'm less inclined to take it just because the EMA is showing bullish strength and it would be counter trend to what's been going on. So first entry short, second entry short failure. If this candle actually peaks below this guy and closes strongly, then it's setting up for a second entry long, and that could also be like a higher low, confirming the failure of the second entry short. Then I think there might be a trade there. But as I said, I'm pretty happy with my one trade. I'm just going to go ahead and call it for now, and then I got to go do some of this other stuff. So hopefully that was helpful.